businesses and so forth. And I listened to it and I told her, I said, what you're trying to do is great. That you're able to do it. Because of the opposition, she hadn't been able to really fulfill her desires for what she would like to do for the city. She can't do anything because she would come to court. She didn't bring frivolous charges, so by returning 90% of it pointed out. I was with her in Atlanta when she had to go before the grand jury, the Supreme Court. They could see through it. So I say it in court. One of the first things the judge asked her was, is she's the first black mayor of the board? Asked was there any blacks on the concerned citizens board, whether there are not. So she's a good person and she means well. She has a good heart. And her desire is to see going progress, but she hasn't been able to implement her visions.
Now, the city clerk is making some serious allegations in terms of misappropriation of funds. How do you respond to that?
If they had allowed the forensic audit to be completed, then we would have known where the misappropriation was and who misappropriated and what it was all about. Mel was a very honest person. I don't think there'll be any misappropriations on her part. In church, she handled money. In church, she handled people. I think those are trumped charges. As the court proceeded, it'll show what it's all about. As an attorney, I said this is just racism.
Anything else you like?
She's a great lady, and I think that if they would allow her an opportunity to implement her vision, I think Gordon would be a better place. And I think that she is kind of aggressive, but I think that her aggression is towards the people, not aggressive. She's just trying to make the place better. You wouldn't be aggressive when you have so much opposition. You're trying to implement a vision that you're unable to implement. So you just have to keep trying, keep pushing. I think that they're just interfering, and she hadn't been able to really just get into what she was elected to do. She hadn't been able to do that.
Thank you, Pastor.
Constantly.
May be seated. You may drop it down. Well, there's a witness. I need to go find Miss Brown. Yes, she is. You got that. There she is. You might have had enough and left.
Marvin Coles was the chairman at that time. Only one person committee.
Oh, so you were referring to a one-person committee on January 17th?
Of what year now, 14?
Yes.
We were still a one-person committee on that day.
Okay, so when you said that there was a police committee meeting on January 17th, you were talking about, well, the tolls just showing up, and that's a meeting, is that correct?
At that time it was. There was only one person on the committee.
So if she started talking herself in the shower about city business, then there's a quorum of the police committee meeting, is that right?
In the shower?
Yes. When you said,
He was in the shower with her. You said,
she's in the shower by herself, talking to herself, and that's a meeting of the police committee.
they were discussing city business.
So at some point in time, the city of Gordon decided to appoint more than one person to a committee, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know the date that occurred?
February 3rd, 2014.
Okay. And after February the 3rd, there were multiple persons that were on various committees, is that correct?
Then they increased it to 3 committees instead of 1.
Okay. All right. So on January 17th, there was only one person on the committee.
Yes.
Now, you talked about the mayor asking you for keys to the file cabinet, and you said that it's a good job of the city clerk to secure all the files.
Yes.
Can you tell me where in the charter it requires you to be the person to secure the city file?
I can't quote the chapter or anything, but it says I'm the official record custodian for
Okay.
the city of Gordon.
Right. And what does that mean to you?
That means I protect those records, because a lot of them are private records. I have to protect those records.
So custodian means that you are the sole person to have custody of the records. Nobody else at the city can have custody of those records.
I have to have custody of those records, and my deputy clerk has access to some of those records.
So your interpretation of the city charter is that nobody else at City Hall can have access to those records other than you.
No, now, there's certain things that are off limits, like personnel files, GCIC files, but I am the official record keeper.
Right. Now, every city has an official record keeper, is that right? So your interpretation is that the city record keeper means that as far as GCIC files, as far as personnel files, nobody else in the world can have access to those files other than Towana Brown.
Under certain circumstances, they may can, but the mayor didn't have access to those.
Okay, and who determines who has access to those records?
A lot of it determines whether you've had the training classes to access the files,
Who says
like
that?
GCIC files.
Who says that?
That is state law on GCIC files that you have the training. As far as I know, you have to have the training before we can access the files.
So you're telling me that your understanding of the law, you're not a lawyer,
No, sir.
you never had legal training, okay?
No, sir.
Never been to law school, right?
No, sir.
You never served as a paralegal to anybody. Okay, but you're telling me that your understanding of the law is that with regards to personnel files and GCIC files, only Towana Brown at the city of Gordon can have access to those files.
The person that has had the training to access the files. There's one other person in my office that has the GCIC training that can access that file like I can.
And who is that?
It's Heather Hall, the deputy clerk.
Okay, when you say can access it, you can go on the computer and actually access the file from the computer. Is that-
We don't go by that process. GCIC computers at the police department, they send the records up to us at City Hall for me to file. It's allowed to court.
All right, so you have access from the police department.
I've taken the training to be certified to access the reports.
But you don't actually access the reports yourself.
I do not.
You are given the reports by somebody at City
Yes.
Hall. I mean, in the police
Other
department.
police department.
if the mayor or any city council person or anybody else at City Hall wanted to access those files, they can't get them, because you have determined that, for whatever reason, they can't see those files. Is that right?
When we take the class, you have to swear to protect those files.
You have to swear to,
Have to protect the GCIC files. They carry penalties for any information that gets out. It's all those confidential records.
okay. Now, the January 17th meeting, that was a meeting that you told me that, I think you said you were being kept at City Hall past working hours, is that right?
Yes,
And you say that the mayor told you you needed to stay past time?
yes.
So is it or is it not true that you asked Councilman Reese to come to the office and that you would be willing to work late that night because the following Monday was Martin Luther King's birthday and that was a holiday?
He was supposed to be earlier in the day, but he didn't show up, so we had to stay a little late, supposedly get the invoices signed.
Right, so did he ask you to stay or did the mayor make you
He
stay?
did not ask me, he asked me because they just wanted the invoices signed, but nobody ever said it's gonna be till 9 o'clock at night, because other things started happening, other than signing invoices.
But is it or is it not true that you asked Councilman Reese to come to the office because you were willing to stay late?
He asked me would I stay late and go, well, he didn't ask would I stay late, at first he was supposed to be earlier in the day, but he did not show up. He showed up right before 5, we had to call him after 5 because he was supposed to be there already and he didn't show up, the mayor called him and asked him to come back down there.
Okay, so the only reason you were staying late then is not because the mayor asked you to stay late, but because Councilman Reese didn't show up when he was supposed to, and you ended up calling him after 5 o'clock.
Well, I was already in her office discussing all of this when 5 o'clock rolled around,
Okay,
so I didn't just get up and walk out. No, I
so
was trying to
you,
do my job.
so you say the mayor called Councilman Reese and asked him to come to the city, and you were already there,
He was supposed to already be there too.
right, and she was there.
She was there.
So you needed his input into whether or not to pay these particular invoices.
That was
Is
the
that
mayor's
correct?
orders,
Okay,
that she and that Councilman Reese and herself had to approve everything before I could pay any bills anymore.
okay. So did you ever send a text to anybody saying that you were being forced to stay there against your will?
I just sent a text to my daughter that I was having to work a little bit late, that's all.
Well, isn't it true that Councilman Edie came in and said that you were being held hostage?
He came in and wanted to know what I was doing working so late while I was being held at City Hall so late.
And you told him what?
We were trying to pay invoices and stuff, best I can remember. Trying to
And
handle some city business, but I told him about some bad things that had happened before he got there.
some bad things that had happened before he got there. And you had him call the police, is that
I
correct?
did not have any involvement with police.
He called the police on his own.
I don't know who called the police.
You didn't see Councilman Edie call the police.
No, sir.
But nobody was forcing you to stay past 5 o'clock, were they?
They didn't force me, but I didn't feel free to leave.
You didn't feel free to
They
leave.
never told me I could go ahead and leave. And I've already been threatened to be fired and insubordinate and everything else, so I felt like I needed to stay to try to get the job done.
So when you say you didn't feel free to leave, what made you think you were, was anybody, you weren't handcuffed, were you?
Well, I was waiting on those invoices to be signed, people were begging for their checks. And it was holding the city at a standstill, we couldn't pay our bills, so I was trying to get the job done and get out of there. But they kept doing all kind of other stuff instead of addressing the invoice issues.
Okay, let me ask you about, Mr. Bassett. Now, isn't it true that the council had a meeting where the council voted 4-2 to hire a forensic auditor? Is that right?
I'm not sure it was a forensic auditor, but they did agree to hire an auditor, but they did not hire Bill Bassett.
Okay, they had a meeting, and they said we need a we need to have the city's books audited, and we need to hire an auditor. Isn't that correct? Didn't they
That's
vote for the
correct.
two to do that?
That's correct.
And you were at that meeting, were you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you stated that, and I took this down as a quote, tell me if this is right or not, but you stated most checks do not require approval of the city council. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, now, how do you discern between which checks require city council approval and which checks do not require city council approval?
Most of them are already budgeted, and like utilities do not require city approval, the budgeted items do not require city approval. Anything under $500, most of the time, it's already budgeted, does not require city approval.
Let me ask you this. Is, are attorney's fees to the, firm of Boone, Scott and Boone budgeted?
We do budget attorney fees each year.
How much do you carry in your budget for attorney's fees?
It varies each year,
Can you give me?
maybe $5,000-$6,000.
Okay. And the city attorney doesn't have an engagement agreement with the city, right?
And not to my knowledge, he's hired by the charter,
Right.
it's gonna be in the charter.
So, his bills don't go to the city council.
No, sir.
And you pay him as much as $20,000 on a single check, right?
Yes,
And that didn't go to the city council.
no.
Okay. So how is it that some checks require approval and some checks don't?
If they're budgeted, already budgeted, if it goes over, I mean, you gotta pay your city attorney, that's a mandatory thing.
Okay, so
But
you,
there were times when we had a hard time, the mayor refused to sign the checks, or we refused to invoice, and we did have to take it to the city council at one point to get our city attorney.
but you signed the city attorney's check yourself, right?
I do,
And you signed one as much as $20,000
yes, sir.
without going to the city council.
That, I believe the particular one you're talking about had to go before the city council, because she was refusing to pay, or refusing to sign the check. It's just been a lot going on.
Um, you testified about Mr. Ritter, and you said that he came somewhere, he came to the city of Gordon in January or February, is that right?
Yes,
And then you said that he came because he was concerned about the illegal signing of checks. Is that right?
yes, and on the bill basket check, mainly.
And when was the bill basket check, signed? Do you recall?
Not on top of my head, no, sir.
I want you to take a look at what previously marked as 35A and 35B. That was the time, what day is on those documents?
February 20th, 2014.
Okay, do you recall who called Mr. Mr. Ritter? How did he end up at the city board?
Best I can remember, different people started filing complaints at the Attorney General's office about different items.
The people that filed this complaint against the one we hear on the for removal of the mayor, you know those folks, right? I'm not talking about the city council people, I know you know them, Mr. Jesley and Mr. Egan, I'm talking about other individuals.
Yes.
And you had numerous conversations with them prior telling them about how you were being mistreated at City Hall, is that right?
I have spoken about that.
And, what did you tell these folks?
I was telling about the harassment that was going on at City Hall, the things the mayor was doing without permission.
And what kind, tell me what are the things that she was doing without permission?
She was buying, sound systems. She was buying
Buying-
things that were not budgeted.
Let's take it one at a time. Buying sound system.
She bought a sound, I call a sound system for the council room.
She bought a sound system for the council. Okay, and you say that that was not budgeted.
It's not budgeted.
Okay. What else did she buy?
I can't remember. She was talking about buying desks and remodeling her office, but, we told her that it was not budgeted. She should not do these things.
Now, was the councilwoman in need of audio system?
Not, in my opinion, not the original councilman.
Now, this audit that would have been done, that would have encompassed, reviewing all of your work, right? Because you were the one that paid the bills off.
Yes.
Right. And, you brought up this issue with, Mayor Lou and the mayor's staff. Now explain that to me again, what was that about?
About her desk,
Oh, her gas, and when was that?
when she was registered for Mayor's Day,
What year was it?
first year, I believe, 14,
And
I
she,
think.
so the city routinely allows spouses to go, and the city pays for the spouses to the mayor's day conferences, is that right?
Yes.
And who was her guest?
She wouldn't tell me. I don't know.
She was married at the time, right?
As far as I know,
So it's possible her guest could have been her husband.
could have been, but she wouldn't tell me who it was. Supposed to list your guests.
So you're saying that, the infraction there is that she wouldn't tell you who the guest was?
I think it was wrong not to tell who it was. Follow past procedure.
Now, you are the person who's responsible for reimbursing people for their expenses when they go on the trip.
Yes.
And you've, reimbursed, Mr. Edie for 4 and 5 people that he had on his expense list for having paid for dinners, right?
I never recall reversing for 4 or 5 people, no.
You don't recall that?
Not for 4 or 5.
Well, how many? 3
Maybe
or 4?
1 or 2, 3
3 or
at tops.
4?
I would never say 4 or 5.
And you've also double reimbursed Councilman Smallwood for his expenses.
No,
You have not?
not double reimbursed, no.
You don't recall his trip to Savannah?
Normally, Mr. Smallwood pays all of his expenses, and I reimburse him one time. I normally don't make his reservations or his train passes for him, he does it on his own.
And have you ever known the mayor to, use the city credit card for any personal expenses? Any personal items?
Not so much personal items, but she has used it for something other than travel expense, which is the only thing it's authorized to be used for.
And meals, right?
Some meals, you can use any type of travel expense, your meals for your meetings,
The hotel?
hotel, stuff like that. But she put
The
office
mileage?
supplies on there.
The mileage?
We reimburse, we don't put mileage on credit cards.
You reimburse, you write a check for the mileage.
We pay per mile,
And you write a check for that, is that correct?
yes.
Okay, but do you know of any, where she went out and bought a new dress or something like that?
No, so the only thing she did in violation of the credit card was she bought office supplies on there, and that was not approved to buy office supplies on a city credit card. It's for travel expense only. And
Office
any
supplies
registration. You can't-
For the office at the
Yes.
city of Boyd?
Yes, sir.
Georgia Fund One. Now, the city had a bank account at Morris Bank, is that right?
Yes.
That's where the city's general fund is located, is that right? And the mayor was assigned on that account, is that correct?
Yes.
And there was a resolution that the city authorized. There's a resolution from the city where the mayor is authorized to move money from the Georgia Fund One account, is that right?
Only when it's approved by the city council.
What does it say?
It has, the council approves what is withdrawn from the Georgia Fund One. After the council approves the withdrawal from Georgia Fund One, then she can make the move of the money.
Okay, well, tell me what says that the mayor has to get the approval of the council before she can move the money?
The city council said so.
Where? Is it an ordinance?
The city council. That's a requirement of the city council, do.
Is there an
It,
is there an ordinance?
the council rules how that is governed, as far as I know.
Well, what I'm
They
asking
set
is,
the law, they set the precedent on that, procedure on that.
you're the records keeper.
Yes.
I want to show you this document here. Tell me if you can identify that.
It is the Georgia Fund One resolution to authorize investment.
Okay, you familiar with that, right?
Yes.
You've seen it before, right? The
Yes.
name is on it, right?
Yes.
Does that document say that the city council, excuse me, I'm gonna move the tenant as defendant's warrant.
Any objection? Objection. Is it marked?
It's not marked yet.
It's marked as P1, and we admit it.
Okay, Ms. Brown, you're familiar with that document, right? You've seen it before. Is there anything in that document that says the city council has to approve of the mayor transferring money from the Georgia Fund One account into the city's general fund account at Morris Bank?
Reads right here, now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Gordon that the funds of the city of Gordon may be deposited from time to time in the manner prescribed by law and applicable policies and procedures for the local government investment pool.
Okay. But anything in there saying anything about the city of Gordon has to have a meeting of the city council before the mayor can move that money?
Not on this resolution.
Is there an ordinance? You keep all the records, right, for the city of Gordon? That means you keep all the ordinances,
Right.
right? You follow them, you keep them in some, I'm assuming some binder somewhere. Is that correct? Are you familiar with any ordinance that has been approved by the city of Gordon that requires the mayor to get the council's approval before she can move money from the Georgia Fund One account into the city's general fund account?
I'm not aware of the ordinance, but it's a policy of the council.
You saying this is an unwritten policy?
We have verbal policies too.
So you're saying that this is a verbal policy?
Yes, sir. Best I can remember, the council had, they specifically has stated it several times at the city council meeting, we are not moving money from Georgia Fund One without the city council's affirmative vote before to do so.
Now, you and the mayor don't get along, right?
To some extent, we don't.
But you've been working there together for the last 30 months, since she was 2.5 years. You filed, before she was even there, 3 weeks, you filed a racial discrimination claim on her, right?
Did file an EEOC complaint.
Yes. And what was the basis of your EEOC complaint?
It's for racial discrimination in a hostile work environment.
Okay. Tell me how you were racially discriminated against.
She has repeatedly threatened to fire me and replace me with a black.
She told you she was gonna fire you and replace you with a
She
black
has,
person.
every time I tell her that I don't know the answer to one of her questions, she threatens to fire me and put someone in that job that can do it, and that she's gonna, equal out the racial equality in the city of Gordon.
Okay, has anybody heard her say that to you?
I'm not sure.
So this is just your word against her word.
I'm not sure about that.
So all these many times that she's told you that,
I know at one particular meeting, Councilman Dempsey was there, that she made that remark, because she was gonna fire me and all the city councilmen.
she's gonna fire the city councilman.
Fire the city councilmen too, because they were not helping her, they were not telling her what she wanted to know and providing the proper information that she thought she should be getting.
Okay. She's gonna fire you and the city councilman.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But other than Councilman Benson, is there anybody else that heard her all these many times you said she told you that she's gonna fire you and hire a black person?
Councilman Pope was in there one time,
You heard her say that?
one of the meetings.
Councilman told her
Yes,
that?
sir.
Anybody else?
Those are two that just come to my mind right now.
Okay, and, you say that, you know, since she's been there, the city, has racial problems. People don't wanna come to City Hall anymore.
They're intimidated.
They're intimidated by the mayor. Now, the
Yes.
mayor's a part-time position, right?
Yes,
So she's not there every day, is she?
not every day.
And you say the city has lost volunteers,
They have,
and public relations is not there,
exactly,
and there's a racial conflict.
yes.
But wasn't the racial conflict started when you filed a racial complaint?
I was being harassed and being threatened to be replaced by a black. That, to me, that's race issues. And that's what led me to believe that I need to go file an EEOC complaint to protect my job in the city of Gordon. It's racial discrimination.
I believe that, I believe you filed that
I did file.
to say that, to keep your job.
I have to keep a job and protect the city of Gordon, not just about me.
And, have you ever known the mayor, to participate in a meeting with 4 council people, that were advertised?
Yes, sir.
When was that?
I believe it was January 17th, 2014.
Okay.
That
that's
Friday
the-
night that I stayed so late.
Okay, the Friday night you stayed so late, and the purpose of that meeting was to,
Basically, to approve the invoices to be signed.
okay. And who was, so you're saying that by having a meeting to, discuss invoices to be signed, that there was an improper meeting of the city council?
Well, Bob, it was supposed to be just myself, the mayor, and Councilman Reese, but there was Barbara Toles, Councilman Barbara Toles, Councilmember Whipple, and then at some point, there comes Councilman Edie was in there and Smallwood. So there was 4, or it was 5, possibly 6 at one time in there.
Who did the mayor call to?
I don't know. All I understood was supposed to be myself and Councilman Reese, just to sign some invoices so we could get checks paid.
Okay, so your understanding was that the mayor was supposed to be meeting with you and Councilman Reese?
That's what I understood.
Okay, and are you saying that these other council people
four there before Edie came in, because I understood you to say Edie came in.
Edie and Councilman Bensley came in at a later point.
Okay. Before they got there, who was there?
Best I can remember was, Mr. Whiple and Barbara Toles and myself and the mayor. And I think Basil Lou,
Was Reese there?
Reese, he was one of the initial ones there
That
too.
was three.
Reese and then
Maybe.
the mayor, and then the other ones came in too.
Wow.
At one point, there was 4 or 5 of them in there discussing city
Bensley
business.
came and then Edie, that'd be five. And the mayor.
And the mayor.
Did Bensley and Edie then leave, or did Edie leave and Bensley stay? And they still discuss business, or did Bensley and Edie leave, so there were only three?
When Councilman Edie came in and wanted to know what was going on, why were they not invited to the meeting? We didn't know, weren't aware a meeting was going on. He said, I can't stay here. He said, I'm hearing rumors that y'all had fired, the mayor has fired the police chief, and he told me you cannot do that, you don't have the authority. He says, at this point, this is an illegal meeting because it's a forum crazy. He said, I'm leaving right now because I don't want to be a part of it. And he left and Councilman Bensley left. And
And did Bensley come in with him?
right about the same time,
That's critical, very critical. Whether or not there were three there with the mayor, or there were four there with the mayor. Edie would have been five if he left, and Bensley left, but that still leaves three in the mayor.
at one time, there was at least 4 or 5 at that meeting.
I understand that, but when Edie got
But he
there,
did leave.
he didn't discuss any business or discuss it with him. All he said was, why did y'all have this? Why didn't you tell us? This is an illegal meeting, I'm leaving.
And he has
That
a-
wasn't a meeting. He wasn't there at a meeting, or was it? Did he participate in a meeting too?
He asked her why, who gave her the authority to fire the police chief, that she didn't have authority to do that. That went just for a minute or two, and then he said, this is an illegal meeting, I gotta leave, not gonna be a part of it.
And
So that's-
Bensley left too.
He left.
But you don't remember if Bensley came in with him, or if Bensley was there meeting with him ahead of time?
They came in almost, he was not there ahead of time, I know that. He came in about close to the same time that he did.
There's 6 council people. Bensley and Edie were not there.
And they were not there.
They came together, they left together pretty much. There were 3 there in the mayor, Cole, Reese, and Smallwood.
And Whipple.
And Whip,
I don't believe Whipple was there at the same time.
okay, so there were 4 there with the mayor
Right.
before Edie and Bensley got
Right.
there. Bensley and Edie made 6.
They made 6. At one time, there was a whole council.
Saying,
They stopped to remember.
they left.
They left.
Before they got there and after they left, the other 4 and the mayor together discussed city business.
They were discussing city business.
What city business were they discussing?
They were discussing firing several people.
So,
That's one thing that was going on.
so, were you in the meeting hearing them?
I was there.
In the same room
I
they
was
were?
in the same room. They were talking about everybody. They were telling me who they were gonna fire.
Now, who was in this meeting?
It's back to the same people.
I'm gonna name Whipple, Cole,
Charles,
the mayor.
Mayor, and Reese. And Smallwood was there most of the time too.
So your claim is that 5 people were in this meeting, and what, 6 with you?
Up to 6 at one time. Not the whole time, but up to 6. At one time, they were all there. That's not gonna remember. And some did leave.
Okay, and you were in the meeting while they were discussing who they were gonna fire,
I was.
but you weren't one of the people they were gonna fire.
And we're not discussing fire me at that time, no.
Okay, but they were discussing firing everybody else.
Several other people.
Okay. All right, and that was on January 17th.
Yes, sir.
Now, is there any other meeting that you know about where there was a forum of the council present discussing city business?
I can't recall right now, but it seems like there was some other, there was just one committee members.
say you can't think of another one?
Got something to go on, I might refresh my memory, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. There were several occasions where there was just the mayor and one committee member discussing stuff.
So, the only, I wanna make sure I understand the assessment correct. We have a county complaint dealing with unauthorized uses of city resources. The only thing you told me that you know about was that the mayor bought a sound system for the council chamber that was not budgeted. And that, and not approved, and that, there was somebody that went to the mayor's day conference and she didn't list who that person was.
She's done that, she has, that's just who I can recall of.
Okay.
And I know there's been some others, but I just can't think off the top of my head what they were.
Okay, and then, there's a county complaint that says undue harassment of city personnel, and that's you, right? And you
Several
told-
city personnel. I'm not the only one that's been harassed.
Okay. We talked about misuse of city funds with regards to $150,000. Talk about what you know about open meetings act violation, which was the January 17, 2014. Now, what else is it that you know about that leads you to believe that the mayor is incompetent, misfeasant, or malfeasant in office?
Well, she moves money without council's approval.
Well, we talked about the 150. What's another 10%?
Like when I tell her you can't do something by charter, she'll do it anyway. She's posted illegal council meetings. They didn't have a correct date, or, I mean, not, they may not have what's to be listed on the agenda. We've had to call her hand about that.
Excuse, wait a minute. Let's go back.
She,
See, the mayor has posted an agenda of the meeting that was incorrect.
yes, sir.
And how so?
When you do an agenda, you gotta have the place, date, time, and the purpose of the call meeting or whatever the agenda is for. She didn't list those things. Now, all of those components were not there.
So who normally prepares the agenda to city board?
What I do is prepare a draft normally, but there's been occasions where the mayor has told me not to prepare agenda, she's gonna do them herself, and she has done that before.
Oh. So, inaccurate agenda, what else?
Just. She doesn't seem to comprehend the laws or the charter. And when you call her, and tell her you can't do it this way, she has repeatedly told me that all that's changed now, I'm the mayor, it's my way.
Can you give me some concrete examples of what you're trying to do?
That agenda's one.
Anything else?
And, the way she deals with the public, she basically avoids them, she will not talk to people when they come in, she dodges phone calls, she dodges citizens. I think it's very important that the mayor have good relations with the citizens of the city. She basically avoids them.
Have you ever told the mayor that the former mayor treated you badly?
He was strict on us, but he has not treated us really bad. But he meant this, when he told you to do something and he knew what he was doing when he told you,
You did,
he meant,
you did. You meant this.
yeah, if he's never told me to do anything, if he's told me to do things that I didn't agree with him, I pull the plug on him too, and I say, Mayor Turner, this is the way says, okay, you're right. And we were just going about our business.
Okay, so,
But she does not respect that part.
okay, so this mayor is different from their term, but you used to pull the charge on him just like you pulled it on her.
I would.
And what you said, he would basically back down and accede to what you said was the right way to do that.
Well, just like with the file cabinet keys, when he come in and asked me for those that time, I said, Mayor Turner, this is the reason I can't let you have access to these keys. He respected me, he never asked for them again. From that point on, when he wanted something, he could make clerk, I need such and such document, can I have access to it? And if it was, I would go make him a copy and give it to him. But he respected me on things like that.
And this mayor doesn't respect you on things like that.
A lot of things, no. I've tried to help her. I call myself trying to help her and keep her out of trouble when I do these things too. Cover myself, the mayor, and the city.
And that's why you file a complaint for racial discrimination against him.
She had created a hostile work about, there's been days when she's been in there pounding her fist on her desk and hollering at me and threatening to fire me. And there's been times where it's been so bad that I've gotten sick. I even came down with the shingles and missed about a month of work. And all that can be caused by stress. It's bad.
Because I think that's all I have in this trial.
You know, he's right.
Yes, Your Honor, just some questions. Ms. Brown? Ms. Brown, Mr. Kendall asked you about Mr. Basket. Did the city council ever approve Mr. Basket's $10,000 retainer?
No, sir.
Did they ever approve that check, the one that's, I believe we have it in the exhibit stack, it was $10,907?
No.
They never specifically approved those expenditures? Okay. Mr. Brown, do you have the exhibits in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Can I have you take a look at plaintiff's 176? That's it. Mr. Kendall asked you some questions about something that we talked about, the Mayor's Day and registration. What did you tell Mr. Kendall a moment ago?
That she would tell me who the guest would be.
Wouldn't tell you who the guest was,
Right.
and
I couldn't tell me, I wouldn't tell me, but I never got the name of the guest. She just said, put a guest down at this time for right now.
okay. What year were you discussing with that? And you can take a look at the exhibit.
Well, I received the registration form on 12/2/15.
12/2/15, 2015. So that's referring to which year's Mayor's Day conference?
2016.
Okay, thank you. I know I've asked this before, I'm going to move on to Defendant's Exhibit 1, the resolution. You can just look that over, and can you tell me, do you see $150,000 on that resolution anywhere?
No,
Okay, thank you. We talked about one meeting, Ms. Brown, January 15th City Council meeting. We only talked for just a moment about it, but I know you talked about the fact before we moved on that there were quite a few people there.
yes.
Did you ever hear the mayor say anything about the number of people at city council meetings?
At one point, she has made comment, and at one point she accused me of just inviting certain people to the council meetings,
Who are those certain people?
white people.
She said that to you.
She's made that comment to me.
you remember about when that was?
It was shortly after she came into office that first year, and she was wanting to know how only white people showed up at the council meeting. I says, I have no control of who shows up at a council meeting, because we post the agendas and anybody in the public can attend. But she confronted me the next day in her office, wanted to know why only white people had showed up.
Okay, well, thank you. Let's keep moving, we're almost done. Let's talk about the January 17th, 2014 meeting. That's the one that I'll talk about that Friday evening, I believe. Do you recall making a notice for that meeting?
No notice.
Did you make an agenda, or did the mayor make an agenda?
There was nothing.
Did the mayor post notice for that meeting?
There was nothing.
Were there any minutes taken at that meeting?
Nothing.
Yeah, and you talked about, there was some discussion about firing people. Do you know who they discussed firing?
The ones that stick out to me were G.B.R, Train Boone, Judge Newberry, Spence Basinger, and they were gonna relieve Melvin Lawrence of his building inspection duties. He's also our superintendent.
No, kind of just a moment.
Right?
No more questions, Your Honor, thank you.
Bottom line with regard to this, if there is a bottom line, January 17th meeting, you don't know, of your own knowledge, whether the mayor called those four up there, Reese, Whiple, Smallwood, and Cole. You don't know if she called them up there or they just all showed up.
Only one I know that was supposed to be was myself and Councilman Reese.
Right. You don't know how the others got there or why they were there.
I'm not sure.
Okay. You don't know, you don't know.
Don't know.
Okay, all right. Thank you, man.
I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
Ms. Brown, have you met with the, counsel for the plaintiffs in this case?
No,
Mr. Cooper and Mr. Barker?
I've not met with them. I've talked to Mr. Barton
When was that?
just this weekend.
We can talk about your testimony here today, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you had any previous discussions with him or Mr. Cooper?
Just open meeting request, open record request basically,
But you never had,
like for minutes and stuff. No, so I've never been, talked to them through their office or anything.
and you said you talked to Mr. Barton over the weekend.
Yes, sir.
How long was that discussion?
I think Saturday was maybe like an hour and a half, Sunday maybe 2 hours.
Can you went over your testimony here today?
Yes, sir.
Were you subpoenaed to be here today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they asked you to bring all your records from the minutes and all of that?
Yes, sir. Certain records were subpoenaed.
And you complied with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
I think we want you to remain outside the courtroom and available to be recalled. Now, obviously, that won't be today, I wouldn't expect, or not. You manage that the best way you want to manage it. I hate for witnesses to sit out there 2 or 3 days waiting. If you can, just let her know when to come back. You can get in touch with her and let her know when to come back.
It won't be today, it would probably be tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, we'll follow up my phone, I mean, I assume she's gonna go back to work in quarter.
They'll get in touch with you, let you know when to come back, if you need to come back. But the rule of sequestration has been put in place here. What that means is, first, the witnesses who are going to testify later cannot be in the courtroom to hear other witnesses testify. The second part of that equation is, then that means that you who have been in here cannot tell any of those witnesses anything that went on in here, what you were asked, what the questions were, what you said, what the lawyer said, what I said, what anybody said, because if you can do that, they might as well be in here. Yeah?
Yes,
So
sir.
the rule of sequestration also means that you will not discuss this case with any of them, or let any of them discuss their testimony with you. Now, you can discuss your testimony with the lawyers, because they're in here anyway, and they may have questions, so you talk to them, but nobody else. But if you go talk to some of these other citizens, they can go talk to the witnesses. So you just go about your business and don't say anything about any of this to anybody else, okay?
Yes, sir, sounds good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That'll probably get you some relief anyway.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, this time the plaintiff would call defendant Mary Ann Whiple for purposes of cross-examination.
Come on up, please, ma'am. Right, ma'am, if you swear the testimony you are about to give in the case now and hearing be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I affirm. If you swear or affirm, I still say that. Thank you. After you see it, please, just for the record, tell us your name.
I am Mary Ann Whiple.
Good afternoon, Mayor. I'm Devlin Cooper. We've met on several occasions at your deposition and other hearings.
Next we'll move to old business. We have the audit discussion. And Mr. Basker, would you please come forward? Thank you. Go ahead.
First off, I guess, y'all know me, I'm the person that's brought in to do the forensic audit. 6 months going on now. Haven't gotten through getting my engagement letter approved, believe it or not. I'm trying to find out, sure, I'll let you know, I watched the YouTube video that was done 2 weeks ago, so I saw what was said, heard a lot of it, some of it I couldn't make sure what it was being said, so I wanted to clear some of that up. First off, I want to make sure whether or not my engagement letter has been approved by the attorney. Mr. Jones, did you approve my engagement letter?
I looked at the engagement that don't have any objections.
You have no objections. Okay.
And during the last council meeting, it was stated that at the time you submitted your engagement letter in February, Mr. Boone was the city attorney. He was asked whether he had a chance to look over it. He indicated that he did look over it once he received it. It took him a while to get it. But after he looked over it, he said he had no objection to it either.
So I can assume then that the council accepts the fact that my engagement letter has been approved by the attorney. Okay. You know,
Go ahead.
You never gave it to me, Mr. Bass.
you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I remember I sent you a letter and.
And how did I respond to you on that letter?
You refused to produce it and said I had to go see the mayor, which is a violation of open record.
Is that what I told you? You had to go see the mayor?
Yes.
No,
You
that's
said
not
I
what I
suggest.
said. Let me pass out exactly what was
All right.
reflected to everybody.
I'm
See if you
trying to
can-
get a copy of it just for that reason. So
I will give you a copy. You already have a copy, but I'll give you another.
I didn't at the time. You didn't get it.
It's correct. You sent me an email. I'll let everybody get it first. Seriously? Can somebody get it?
Well, I took one. Here's
I'd like this to do that. Anyway, you sent me an email, and you asked me for a copy of my engagement letter, and my response was, it was best to get it from the mayor. I did not deny it to you. I did not say you could not have it. I was not obstructing you from getting it. I said it was best for you to get it from the mayor, and there's a reason for that. I was in there doing my audit. I'm being paid by the hour to do it. According to the billing rates around here, it's probably fairly high. In Atlanta, it's not that high. I brought my rates down for the local area. The mayor, Towana, and Heather are all civil servants. They work for their salaries, and to get it from them would cost very little. To get it to me, I would have to go try to get a copy of it and find where to get it to you. So that's why I said it would be best to get it from the mayor, because that is the best thing to do. I don't know why you had a problem with that, but you did.
Well, the problem, Mr. Patrick, is that the Open Records Act doesn't allow you to pass an open records request on to somebody else. Because as a contractor with the city of Gordon, you yourself are subject to the Open Records Act. Passing it on to the mayor or anybody else is not provided for in the Open Records Act. The fact that you did not provide the document or provide an exemption for not providing the document, and say passing it on to the mayor is not a permitted exemption. You were required to furnish the document whether it cost something or not, and you also could provide me with the cost of doing that, and I would have had to pay that if it was a cost to the city. You didn't do any of that.
I didn't know that needed to be done. I did what I thought was the most efficient thing to do. I was not trying to obstruct anything. I was not trying to deny you from it. I did what I thought was the best thing to do at the time, and you made a big deal out of it 2 weeks ago.
I didn't make a big deal out of it.
Yes, you did,
I'm just saying you violated the law by not responding, providing. Simple as that.
You refused to cough it up. I think it's the words you used. You made I think those kind of disparaging words to me. I didn't appreciate you making those kind of statements, but that's the way you do business, and that's
I
fine.
didn't appreciate you violating the law on behalf of the city of Gordon either, but you did.
Here again, sir, I don't know all your laws. I did what I thought was the best thing to do at the time. So,
Well, I think it's incumbent on you when you get an open record request. If you don't know, you need to find out because it's pretty serious business.
here again, sir, I
There
did
are
not know
criminal
that.
violations if you don't comply.
And a week later, your associate came to visit us again. I did not have a copy of it. I had taken it home, put it in my files, I hadn't scanned it yet, so I didn't have a copy of it. I said, he could walk down 2 steps and got it from the mayor. But here again, he wanted to make a big deal out of it to make me look bad in front of the council and against the city. So if you want to act that way, I think it's a very childish way for you to be, but that's fine.
I don't think violating open records act is actually childish.
Sir, here again, I've already explained that to you. Do you need me to explain it again? So we'll move on. No, I understand what it is now. If 6 months ago, if I'd been told that it was a violation of me not to do that, then I would have done it. I had no idea.
Excuse me, counsel, would you have a seat if we need to move on?
Well, not as long as he's making allegations. Mayor.
Attorney, please have a seat,
Now,
or I will have to silence you.
let's say one other thing.
Counsel, please have a seat.
If Mr. Baskett wants to
Counsel,
do that, he could have been subjected to sanctions, and I could have done that, but I didn't.
Okay.
I tried to work with you.
right, thank you. Move forward.
Anyway, I managed to get in there. I was in there for about 2.5 weeks before finally I was told that I'm not going to get paid. Okay, so I left and actually did continue to still work on the audit while I was down there. It was very expensive for me to be up here 8, 10 hours, actually 12 hours a day working on this thing. So the more efficient and effective thing for me to do was to do what I could do out of Atlanta, and that's what I did. There's a lot of people sending me information. There's a lot of document requests that I had already initiated, and that was coming in, so I was working on it. I was working with Mr. Reesley. He was sending me a lot of information. One in their office was sending me a lot of information. I was getting information from third parties, from the bank and from some other places. So I continued working on this thing, even though it was on a lot smaller, not near as many hours as it was when I was up here before. But the other thing I was a little bit surprised at in your voting is to, well, first of all, let me talk, can I address it individually? Terry, did you have a problem with my engagement letter? Terry Reese?
No, sir.
You're fine with it?
No, fine.
Barbara, are you? You're fine with it. Has everybody had a chance to read it now?
They were given.
Okay, Terry, Mr. Edie, have you had a chance to read
I
it?
certainly have, yes, sir. I have read it. But the thing about it all was that everything is post-dated before anything was ever accepted legally. see what I'm
What do you
saying?
mean post, no, I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean by post statement?
This right here, that was signed by you, the mayor, is dated 2/16.
It's 2/19.
I may have made a mistake.
Mayor,
I'm not
Jane, I wrote the letter, the date that I wrote the letter, the engagement letter, is my date. The mayor signed it on the date that she signed it. And she wrote down the date that she signed it, so it's effective the date that the mayor signed it, which is, what, I think it's 2/19 or 2/17?
219 is.
2/19. So what is your question? Okay,
It
any other
has not
questions?
been voted on. It has never been voted on.
It was voted on 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, it was voted on 2 weeks ago.
And what happened?
You abstained.
And
And why did you abstain? I'd like to know.
because I am not satisfied with the way you have been carrying this audit forward. There's too many discrepancies and too many things that I don't know. You have left a lot of this council out of the picture. You have purposely talked with a few people, like Mr. Reese, maybe the mayor, but you have never asked me any questions that I might help you with. You have kept me in the dark. Okay? I've talked with you. We've had conversations.
Yes, we have had
We
conversations.
have.
I have had conversations with you, so what
Yes,
are you
sir.
asking me?
And I told you then, until everything was legal, that everything you had done was not up to par, because it was not legally voted on. And it still has not been voted in. An abstention is a no vote. Doesn't count, one way or the other. 3 yeses, 2 noes, and an abstention, or 2 abstentions and a no and 3 yeses does not pass a motion at this table. It takes 4 yes votes, always 4 yes votes.
Okay. So,
Okay?
so the last, or 2 weeks ago, you abstained.
Yes,
And why did you abstain?
because I just told you, everything is not legal. I can't go any further than that. That is exactly the reason. It is not legal what we have done and what you have done up to this point.
I have to,
Please.
Ted,
I have a problem with this because it's not legal. I'm very ticked off. Why did we let him work here 13 days? Why didn't somebody interrupt and say, stop this, we're not gonna do it no more? You don't let somebody work 13 days. I don't let you cut 2 acres of my grass and tell you I don't need you.
Amen.
Now, if it was illegal, he should have been stopped from the start. Now, I'm gonna force my 2 cents while I got this opportunity. I kept my mouth shut. There are a lot of discrepancies with this city money. Not what you say, but what I've seen that really goes before. We talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars apparently misappropriated or not accounted for. We need some answers. I don't think he's leaving you out this evening. It's no different when Right and Right do an audit. Right and Right never told us what went on in the audit. We sat at this table and the mayor presented what was going on. But then they met and discussed whatever. And I asked to assist or work with Mr. Bassett because I was familiar with a lot of the things, a lot of the people, a lot of the contractors, by names and stuff which he would not know. And he has had resistance from day one. The first day he came in here to do this audit, we sat over there all day and could not do the audit when they met over here with the EEOC and the attorneys. Now, one attorney, when the mayor come back, he didn't get any information. He was here to do that audit. And the only way he got information then, there was some EEOC attorneys that went in when Mr. Bassett asked to get a copy of the file on her computer. She didn't know how to unload it or download it to his disk. One of the EEOC attorneys says that's no problem. Ever since he got that, Mr. Boone has been contending that he has tampered with the file, he has done things inappropriately. There's some stuff on those files I wish we could print for everybody to see.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there are things going on here that need to be addressed by the audit.
and I can't,
Attorney,
I'm
just
not
have a
gonna
seat.
stand here and let me make accusations.
Attorney, if you can't sit, then you need to exit.
Well, you gonna let him speak and not me?
Yes, he's a council member and you're not.
He's allowed under the law to defend himself in
No,
case
but not at this meeting.
He's not even working. He's not
You're
gonna
out
sit
of order. Chief, I need you to come. If y'all can't retain yourself, you need to exit.
Well, then you
This
need
is
to-
according to the
you need to
law.
you need to,
He's, attorney, please have a seat.
no, but he's not shielded from the
Attorney.
slander law by telling stories.
My name is Miss Slander, so have a seat. Amen. My name has been slandered in all of this. Now, y'all don't want me to get started. Resume. Resume.
I was. There were blockades put in front of me in getting those
Go ahead and
files.
Bill.
I could not. I'm sorry. You would not let me. You did not want me to have those QuickBooks files.
That is not true, Mr. Baskett. Let me explain why.
Attorney, well, you need to have a.
Look, let me
You're not being a riffraff here. Okay, go ahead.
Well, he's gonna stand there and lie about me. That's another story there.
Attorney, you and I in the same boat. These are lies about me too. I feel
Well,
you.
you got a
I
public
feel
forum
you.
to address it, I don't.
Excuse me.
I said, you have a public forum here with a gavel to address it, I don't.
Well, you
So
take
Mr.
it to
Bassett's
court.
gonna stand there and lie about it?
Take it to court. Do just like me. They taking me. You all taking me. So take yours to court. Let's
Well,
have
Mr.
it right there.
Richardson sitting back
Just have a
there
seat.
can clear up the thing
No,
about
attorney, have a seat. Resume.
It's difficult to get these files. Okay. It's
Why?
also why?
Why?
It was said that I could not have them.
Who?
They want. I thought it was.
Wasn't
Was it
me.
not you?
Wasn't me.
Well, somebody was not letting me have it. They didn't want me to have it.
I didn't care.
I found that, but I also put in a request to get canceled checks. You're in a meeting. You are all in the meeting when I sent in to say, Towana, I want a list of all these checks, and she had to sign off on it for me to get access to get them. Okay. Terry, you're in the meeting. What happened when the report came in, or the letter came in there saying, we want to get a copy of all these canceled checks? We have Towana sign off on it. Do you remember?
Yeah,
I wasn't in there, but you told me.
When they were in the mayor's office, I said, we need to whose names on this account to sign where we could get this information from the bank, because if the name is not on the account, they're not going to release the information. She said, well, I'm not going to sign that. And the mayor said, why are you not going to sign it? Sign it. And Mr. Boone, she had to get advice from Mr. Boone to look over it and said, well, Mr. Reese, why don't you sign it? I said, I will sign it. I don't have a problem with it. Because I can get it if my name's on the account, but I can't get the one her name's on. Well, I don't understand or whatever, but the bottom line, she did sign it after conferring with Mr. Boone. And that's how we was able to get it. And sometimes we went down there, we didn't get it. And while it's hot on my tongue, some we couldn't get from the Morris Bank locally. We had to make a trip to the corporate office in Dublin. And I remember very vividly, me and the man, a couple more.
Yes.
One more person with that. Well, we requested some information regarding some stuff you requested for the audit. They let us sit there about an hour and a half. They put us in a room. And she said, I just talked to my attorney. And my attorney said, you need to get your attorney to call me before we can release the file. And we went to lunch, and we stated to her that we'll be back. We're going to go to lunch. We're going to come back and get the file. She said, well, my attorney said, you need to get y'all attorney, Joey, to call us before we can release the file. And that's the kind of roadblock that we've been having trying to get information.
So it's one thing after another. So it's made everything difficult, made everything last longer than it should have.
Exactly.
But things finally started coming in, trickling in, through your open records request. They've been sent to council members, and council members sent to me and asked me to go research this, research that. So I've been working on this based on requests from council members to do some investigation type work. And I've been moving on with it a little bit. This here again has not been full-time. I haven't worked on it that much until recently, but I went for several months without doing hardly anything. But anyway, it just, are you coupled enough now with this, my engagement letter to vote yes or no on it, Mr. Are you going to abstain again?
Where are you going with this?
I just want to know.
You don't force the motion on
No, I
us or
don't.
anything, If you want to tell us something right now, this is your opportunity right now to move forward. Continue to tell us what you see, what you found, if you want to.
There's limited what I want to say in detail, and I've told you that several times in the past. I've talked about treasures and monies that don't make sense. I'm trying to get all sides of the entries. I can't get them unless I come down here and look at them. $25,000 movements, $50,000 movements, $200-something movements of money. I don't know what it's for, and I can't see it because I'm being blocked from getting here to look at it. I've told you that before. Things with this. So we have had conversations. If you're in my hearing, I talked about some of these things too. So you can't say you haven't heard these things. And then when the vote comes up, you abstain like you haven't heard anything. And I don't understand that at all.
I do not trust what you're doing, Mr. Basket. I'm going to be honest with you. If you want to hear my honest to God answer, that is why.
So then what
You have worked with the mayor and her personal attorney during that hearing. You have been in contact with Mr. Jones and Mr. Kendall on several occasions, you know. So why would I think you got the city's interest at best? It sounds to me like you're trying to just get to the point where you can do something to get your money. Okay? I don't think you got the city's interest at the best heart. You just said you were taking instructions from certain council members on stuff they was asking you to look for. You know? Now, if you are an auditor, a forensic auditor, and you come in to do your job, you should know the things that you're going to look for. You know, you should. You should be telling us what you're going to look at, not what Mr. Reese wants you to look at or somebody else.
And
You understand that?
Yeah, I understand that. Do you understand I was doing both? I was getting information from them. I had to come in and talk to the people that are working here. I talked to Towana. I talked to people behind the desk. I talked to various different council members to find out what they think are the hot issues. Where are things to look at?
Yes,
so I was using their information for me to do my investigation, in addition to all the procedures that I had already come in to do, which I was working on, which I'm now still being blocked from completing.
When you and I had the only conversation face to face next door, when you came down, that only time that I talked to you, you told me some of the things that you were saying, that you needed somebody to help you find these different things. And I said the best one to help you with that information would be the city clerk and treasurer, Ms. Brown. And you told me that's probably who I need to talk to, but they won't let me talk to her. And I asked you who wouldn't let you talk to her. And what did you tell me?
I don't recall the But I have Towana, have I talked to you about several things with this project?
But I've already given you some of this information you said you don't have.
Which information?
That 25,000 to 50,000, that was all Georgia Fund 1 transfers. You've already got that whole packet.
No, I
gave
don't.
it to you twice.
I don't have the whole packet. What I don't have is the check attached to the deposit
And
slip.
I sent a copy to you and to Councilman Reese.
What I don't have, and I still don't have, is the check that was attached to the back of the deposit slip. That's what I've been given what they want, what you want me to see, but I haven't got to see what I want to see. And there's a big difference. There's a big difference there. Because there are checks that are deposited that I don't have not to see. I've asked for them time and time again. I'm not getting them.
We have given you everything that you've asked for. And some of it
I don't have
was,
the copies.
I gave you,
I don't
then
have
you said
copies.
I don't have it. And I had documented where I gave you the copies.
I don't have
I've got it on
copies.
file.
I don't have copies of the checks that are attached to the deposit slips for these large transfers. I do not have them. Okay, simple as that. I don't have
Everything you
them.
asked for. He gives it to me in writing so I can make sure I'm looking at what
I
he
think it's been
wants.
requested to me in writing several times.
By maybe other people.
Requested for it. Okay. So you don't trust me, is that right, Mr. Towana? You have
The
suspicions
way
about
things have
me.
been going, no, sir. I don't put a lot of confidence in the job that you have done up to this point. No, sir, I certainly don't.
Have you ever stolen from the city?
No, sir. I do not steal. I do not
I just
steal.
ask the question. Ask the question. Why don't you pass this down there, Bob?
Please.
I know it's a shocking question, and I apologize I had to ask it this. This is an expense report, Mr. Eden. I mean, let me question for you. What is the policy, city policy on when one of the councilmen go out the town on an education trip or conference? What's the policy about meals?
they turn in a receipt, we pay them.
For how many?
They do, at the convention, we do allow them to pay for their spouses and their children, grandchildren. They have been doing this for years and years. It is allowed.
Ms. Tolles, what was told to you when you went on the conference about policy?
I was told that you only pay for you and your spouse, you can take sister, brother, children, or grandchildren.
So we got a
Now,
conflict of
that's what I
story.
was told because I asked the question.
You asked the question
Yes,
before you
I
went?
did. Yes, I did.
And what did you tell her when she asked you the question?
I'm not gonna try to get us back.
I just asked you a question.
If you have anything else to ask, you can ask my lawyer.
So what is official policy for the city?
It has always been family. Whoever your family is, whoever goes with you. And Mr. Freeze can back up several years ago when he had children and people he cared with him. Mr. Freddie Disley, if he was here, he would tell you the same thing. Everybody that goes is covered under
That's a good idea. Let's ask each councilman what they think the policy is.
We're gonna roll call.
Please be quiet.
We did take the family, and I did take my little girl. But I ain't been in several years now, so I don't know what's going on. But the bottom line is, when the mayor personally asked me, say, when we go on these education trips, are we allowed to take family? I said, well, we used to, because me and my wife is going with them, and that's the only child I take, because that's the only child I had. And we stayed in the same room. There was no extra room
I'm
and
not
any
talking
stuff
about,
like
it's
that.
not talking about hotels or the conference costs and all that. I'm talking about the meal policy. Now, it sounds to me I'm hearing two different stories, but I want to hear, I did my analysis based on,
Well, back then we did pay for meals, because my daughter did eat. She was about
so
5,
you
6,
paid out of your
7 years
pocket
old.
for your
No,
daughters.
I did.
Doretha, what is your understanding of the policy? Your spouse and yourself, and that's what you said. And Mr. Smallwood, what did you think it was?
what Terry said.
That's the case, then, but that's not the way I understood it. So,
You didn't ask the right people. There you go again. If you had asked the right people rather than be selective in who you talked to, you might have got the right answer.
Well, he hadn't asked me anything, so I'm just hearing this for the first time, and that's true. And I was told that it was.
okay. This is something that was brought up to my attention after I'm kind of pushed out of this place to research this, and with what was told me. So I did what I did based on what I was advised to do. Okay.
And you think that is a fair assessment of doing forensic stuff? Picking up on just something like this?
No, I would like to have been brought in and accepted to do this, but I'm right now working as best I can with the instructions I have of getting in here to allow to finish this job.
By who?
By who?
Yes, by who?
Whoever abstains when they vote on this thing is instructing you. So you tell me.
You talked about the hearing, and did I hear anything that you said or not? I heard you tell in that courtroom that day that there was $37,000 some odd dollars wrote to Georgia Power that Georgia Power said they did not receive. We came back and we found every check from Georgia Power, and they added up to $37,000 whatever few dollars. So now, did you perjure yourself on that stand that day?
No, that's the information I had at the time. I'm still trying to get information from Georgia Power to verify that, yes or no. So I did not perjure myself. I was given a copy of what was supposed to be all of the meters, all the accounts for the city of Gordon had with Georgia Power. I compared that to the payments, and I came up $37,000 short. So with the information I had, that's what I did.
And you think somebody took the money? You said
I didn't say that, sir. I said that there's $37,000 short.
Somebody may have got the money.
Excuse me.
I said it was $37,000 short. I don't know what that means. I need to reconcile. I need to continue working on it to be able to make a determination whether that's actually was gone or not. Okay.
One other thing in that hearing that day, did you or not say you have not worked on the audit in a long time because you have not been paid? Did you not make that statement that day?
At that time I did.
Okay. The week before, we had that hearing. Did you and Mr. Reese or not call the county commissioner's office and talk to a Mrs. Judy Brown on a phone conference and ask
Yes, we
them?
did. We had a meeting.
Okay, yes, sir.
That's right.
Okay.
So that was the first time that I worked on this audit since back in May.
But you said you
And
had
they-
not worked on it.
I said I hadn't worked on it much. I hadn't. You go back and look at my timesheet, I have time back in, way early in the first couple of days in May, hadn't done anything until the weekend. They called me up, Mr. Reese and Mr. Jones called me up and wanted to come meet in Monticello. They had some information they wanted me to look at. So I went down there to look at it. It's the first thing I had done in it. Figured it must, maybe 2.5 months. Is that fair enough?
What I heard, you said you had not worked on it at all. You said, I have not worked on it because I have not been paid. That was the statement I heard. I bet you I will always probably got the
I don't recall saying that.
Okay.
I really don't recall exactly how I put it, but I had not worked on it until then. Okay. Well, so I got another finding that's brought to my attention that I want to bring out. Okay. And that's a little thing got to do with the alcohol beverage tax. Would you pass this up?
You don't think people make errors?
I'm sorry?
You don't think people make errors on those? I've already picked up that, and I've already called the auditors right and right, and their lady, Miss Patricia, made an entry error on that call and after. $1,430,000 when it's supposed to be $21,000. It's a one-line item error. Okay? And it's a revenue showing as a revenue. It's not a paid up. It has only $1,000 before it's supposed to be the line
Made an
item.
entry of $1.4 million. That was a credit to alcohol and beverage tax. What was the other side of the entry?
$1,434,000.
What's the other side?
That added together, you know, subtracted 121 from it. That's what it goes to.
What is the other side of the entry? It's a double entry accounting system. You have a credit to the revenue account. What's the debit?
It is a plus 1434.
Yes, that's the credit. What's the debit? And to what account?
It's under alcohol beverage tax.
That's the credit. What's the debit?
Look, they're both the same. There's no debit. It says over budget or under actual budget is all it says.
You're not an accountant, are you?
No, sir, I'm not an accountant.
Hush!
Tell me the number that you're looking at or what you want to say.
Okay. The other side of the when you make in accounting systems, it's a double entry system. If you make an entry, you credit the franchise tax, the alcohol beverage tax, you have to have a debit offset the balance of the books. Okay? So you credit the alcohol beverage tax, you debit something else. That's what is the debit? What's the debit? You can't do it.
I did not make this entry, this is a year in audit adjustment from last year.
So you don't know the other
She
side.
has still been correct with the bank, she said she put the wrong account, I had to correct it, I will be late for it under the
I'll tell you what the other side of the entry was. You made an entry to the fixed assets for $1.4 million. I don't understand why you would do something like that.
I
Or why
didn't do that.
Okay, well, who else puts information into the QuickBooks files?
I'm not supposed to be talking.
You're not supposed to be talking.
I'm not supposed to be talking.
I don't understand that either.
But I like why we like it, like to.
Well, I hate to say that right was wrong this time because that was not a proper. The entry makes no sense. $1.4 million fixed assets, $1.4 million credit to the alcohol beverage tax. The entry made no sense for $1.4 million. I don't understand why you would do something like that. Or why? Okay, well, who else puts information into the QuickBooks files?
I'm not supposed to be talking.
You're not supposed to be talking. I don't understand that either. $1.4 million. I don't understand why you would do something like that. Or why didn't. Okay, well, who else puts information into the QuickBooks files? You're not supposed to be talking. I don't understand that either. $1.4 million. I don't understand why you would do something like that. Or why didn't. Okay, well, who else puts information into the QuickBooks files? You're not supposed to be talking. I don't understand that either. You're not supposed to be talking. You're not supposed to be talking. You're not supposed to be talking. Who else puts information into the QuickBooks files? You're not supposed to be talking. I don't understand that either. You made an entry to the fixed assets for $1.4 million. I don't understand why you would do something like that. Or why didn't. Okay, well, who else puts information into the QuickBooks files? You're not supposed to be talking. I don't understand that either.
Why would you like it?
Well, I hate to say that right was wrong this time because that was not a proper. The entry makes no sense. $1.4 million fixed assets, $1.4 million credit to the alcohol beverage tax. The entry made no sense. Okay? That was brought to my attention, and so I'm bringing it up now. Okay, you say you want to hear examples of things.
I found that myself. I would look over these numbers every month. Ask Ms. Brown, didn't I call her and ask her the same question? Where and why? And she told me that it was an error on Ms. Right, it comes down for.
But you didn't know what the entry was.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't see that?
What?
This is what they were discussing.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, it stands out. I mean, it's hard to miss it.
Well, I have a problem with all of a sudden, therefore, you got half out, let me say. The old saying was, where's the money, man?
Right.
As soon as you go out, the sign on the thing said, the money's in the bank. It slipped in through the back door.
Oh.
That's how I got in the bank. 1.4 million.
That money's not there. Hard to miss it.
Well, I have a problem with all of a sudden, therefore, you got half out, let me say. The old saying was, where's the money, man?
Right.
As soon as you go out, the sign on the thing said, the money's in the bank. It slipped in through the back door.
Oh.
That's how I got in the bank. 1.4 million.
That money's not there.
If that money's not there, then all these figures mean this is money on paper.
All
A
that
lot of this is money on paper.
Uh-huh.
We need in order to see exactly where we stand and liquid asset and everything else.
Exactly.
Because we don't know.
I want a clean slate, that's all.
The entry made no sense to me. I went and looked at the, if you get revenue in from the alcohol beverage tax, that goes through the general fund. I went to look in the general fund to see if there was a deposit or anywhere near that kind of money. No, there's no deposit for money. It's just a flat journal entry for whatever reason. I had no idea. And you want to see examples of things, so I brought up an example of things. You know, I don't know what it is.
It didn't surprise me. I saw it. You didn't surprise me with it. I already knew it. And I'd already questioned the right people to find out the right answer.
I wish I could come up with something. I wish I could come up with something you're not surprised about at this point in time. But the things I'm seeing, I still haven't.
Be very careful where you go with your statements. I'm not going to put up with it if you continue to make accusations, okay?
Question, attorney, I'm sorry, counsel,
Yes, ma'am.
councilman. Now, to attest to this, can you explain to me that you got on the witness stand accordingly and said that I, the mayor, is bankrupting the city by stealing grant money and all bankrupting the city, so
No, ma'am,
I can
never
agree.
said that. Read the transcript, you will not see where Terry Eady said that.
The mayor's bankrupt the city, so all of a sudden, the money's gone. Where's the money? Now you put the sign out there, we're happy, happy, happy. The money's back in the bank. I wanna know which door did it come in too.
This is the council meeting, not all this.
Are y'all really using type signs for town?
Kelly,
The next outburst, we will have.
They didn't have an outburst the whole meeting.
y'all be quiet, everybody be quiet.
That's enough now.
As I said, the money's back, so we're happy, happy, happy. Show us how it got back. Auditor.
I can't show you how I got back. I can't get back in and look. So I don't know. You know, I'm been removed from looking at this stuff. I just get things sent to me from time to time to say, look at this. This looks funny to me. That's the best I can do at this point. I still have my list of things that I want to go investigate. The transfers of monies, the investigation in certain accounts. I really don't want to go into a whole lot of detail of the things I want to do because I don't want to give away the things I'm looking at. Because they could be changed and altered and purged. I don't need that to happen to make my audit even tougher. Does that not make sense?
Yes, sir.
I can't explain everything I'm going to do as I go through it. When I finish it, I'll give you a full report of everything that I see and the funny transactions that happen. That's what I'll give you.
Okay.
And I'm doing this in the best interest of the city. Okay? I wish you would just accept that. If you don't accept that, then when it comes up to vote no. Okay? Vote no. I want you to have all the information you need to be able to vote yes or no. I'd rather you vote yes. If you want to vote no, vote no.
Keep moving forward.
Okay? Is that clear enough? That's...
Bill, let me ask you a question. On those QuickBooks in the year 2009, in August of 2009, there was $2 million moved from Georgia Farms 1 that went to Magnolia Bank to purchase the CD.
Quiet, please.
During that same time period, that year, there was a $2 million adjustment on the QuickBooks. Why was there a $2 million adjustment on the QuickBooks?
I don't know about the
Mr. One, do you know why there was a $2 million adjustment?
It had to go through the bank, ask Melissa Morris Bank, she can explain to you. When we moved that CD from Magnolia to Morris Bank, when we got to Morris Bank, she had to run it through the general fund account, some kind of banking transaction, okay? But that money is actually that $2 million CD that we have now at Morris Bank. It's the same $2 million transfer from place to place.
Okay, but I have a problem with the money was moved from Georgia Transfer 1. We see that in the QuickBooks. We see where the money's moved, and it decreased the amount of money that was in the Georgia Transfer 1 down to $500-something thousand.
No.
Then, yeah, it was $2,500,000-something thousand in there, until the $2 million was moved. Once the $2 million was moved, that left $563,000 in the Georgia Fund 1. Why, later on down, we got an adjustment in the QuickBooks for the year for $2 million?
That was another one of those year-end audit adjustments that right now.
$2 million?
But that's where it went through the bank, and they had to take it, where they had to take it out of general fund.
Now that's something that I feel we need to really look into.
But it's all their document. I found it the other day, but I was bank statement, it's all documented. And you call Melissa Morris Bank, she'll verify.
One of the problems with the George One Fund was it hadn't been reconciled in at least 10 years. Okay? It needs to be looked at. And I was looking at the transaction, and those are the transactions I want to follow, where the money came from and where it went to. You look at all the, where all it went, all the pockets of the checks to make sure everything's being done the way it's supposed to be done. Okay? It just hasn't been looked at. And it started out with $6 million, now it's down to $5,000. I'm not saying, I don't have the same opinion that Terry has about the $2 million. But there's other transactions there I have a problem with. Okay?
That when we move those amounts of money, whether you say at 25, 50, or whatever, 75, this council makes a motion at this table to take the money out of the One Georgia Fund, just like Mr. Reese tried to do that night for your $10,000 that gets passed. We did the same thing every time. The minutes would reflect when we voted to take that money and move it. So if you get the minutes and look back in One Georgia Fund, you would see that they would match up, and then the transaction from One Georgia Fund is an automatic transfer. They transfer that money automatically, electronically to the Georgia Bank. I can't remember which account it went in, say the money market fund or the general fund or whatever. But then to get it to the other fund, you have to move it, once it gets to the bank.
I know how it works.
Yes.
I understand how it works.
Right.
I just want to see the full transaction. I don't want to just see $25,000 out here, showing up here, and then showing up over here. I want to see that when that money moved over here, that was the money moved over here, and it didn't come in from somewhere else. It was not reported. Okay, I want to see the check to back up the money showed up here, so with the money that came in here, it was not just a check from somewhere else that you didn't record. It should have been recorded as revenue. Okay, that needs to be clarified. That's why I asked for the copy of the deposit slip and the check behind the deposit slip to show me exactly where that money came from. Okay, and I haven't been shown that yet. I've asked for it numerous times. There's also, I hate to reveal everything, but there was a $230,000 transaction that moved money from the general fund and this SPLOST 2007 fund. And it said to refund it. There was no money that ever came out of 2007 fund, SPLOST 2007 went to the general fund that needed to be refunded. But that was the note that was on there. So why is there a note that says refunded, but it was never taken out in the first place? Okay? Don't you think that needs to be looked at? Is there something maybe going on that needs to be investigated?
I'm sure that money and the answer is there if you ask the right people. I might not off the top of my head remember. In the past, we have had 4 or 5 different projects in this city that you have to use SPLOST money for. And sometimes to pay that money, you pay for it from the general fund, and then you take and pay it back with the other money.
Sir,
it can be.
Let me do it real quick.
Okay.
I don't just want to ask people. I want to see the documents. I'm not going to just take the word of somebody.
And
See, I want to see the actual physical evidence of what's going on.
That document should be there.
I haven't yet received it yet. That's my whole problem. There's a lot of transactions I want to investigate to see that everything is above the board. Everything is fine. That's it in a nutshell. I've told you that every time we bump into each other.
Yes, sir.
And I don't want to go broadcasting it all over the place, like I've done tonight. But you're pushing me in this position to do this kind of thing, which is kind of silly to me. But that's what we're at. That's where we are. Okay.
So, Council, go ahead, Council.
If we can get you to finish this audit, do you have a problem with Mr. Edie sitting right off? Sitting in there, and you
I don't
want
care.
I didn't think so. So you have no problem
No,
with him or any other council member
I didn't.
sitting while you complete this audit. Am I correct?
That's correct. Anybody come in that they want to. Mr. Smallwood came in one time. Barb's come in several times. I don't think you came in once. Okay. You never came in.
He never could.
I didn't
I was
think
never
you needed.
invited.
Well, I don't invite people. They just show up.
Okay.
Okay. It's not an invitation only. It's just I'm
you
here
have
working. And
invitation
some people
tonight.
came in.
Councilman Edie, I'm sorry. Mr. Baskin, does he have an invitation tonight?
You have an open invitation to come in. Give me a yes vote.
Will you
Give me a no vote. I don't.
Sir,
Just
I'll be glad to work with Mr. Basket if we get everything ironed out legally.
Well, that's fine. That's the whole point of this thing. That's why we're here to vote on my engagement letter, to get everything legal the way you want it.
All right.
And I want it legal too.
And one other thing before we go any further, I want to say this one more time too. Your audit is not approved in our budget. You understand that? Do you know what that means? That your money has to be found and a budget amendment made to find where that money is going to come from to pay you. We have never done that. We don't have the money, to pay you. So Now, we got to back up and try to find a way to find that money to pay you and do a budget amendment. It has to be voted on in order for you to get paid. You understand? I mean,
Well, that's your opinion. I don't know.
that is not an opinion. That is by the state law.
Is
I
that,
can tell you what, Finance Chair.
We can do that.
But what I'm saying is true, Mr. Reed.
Right, what
Yeah.
you're saying is true, and we can look at some line items and find the money. Because, let me say this to y'all. I think we dealt in mediocre stuff ever since the mayor been in here. It's time for us to act like grown folk and be the dignified Christian that some of us confess to be. Nobody's pointing fingers saying nobody's a thief, a robber, or a liar. What we're saying is, in business, we're going to be mean. And this is the way we're going to operate the business. Let's get this audit complete. Let's get the standing on the city finance where we can do this budget and we can move forward. Because it's too many hindrances going. It doesn't take this long to do this budget. Let's give Mr. Baskin what he's requested. Let's go ahead and complete this audit so we'll all know what the finances of the city are. We have other things that we need to deal with. And these are precious issues, and we're just not going to go forward until we can get this stuff resolved. We're battling each other, and we're fighting, and this is not good for this council. Now, I would never point fingers at anyone on this council to say, I accuse you of this or that. Now, I will use the word I see as misappropriation. If there were mistakes, then we need to correct them. But there are some things that the auditor needs to look at, and we need to give him that access. And if the thing is, Mr. Edie, that you wasn't invited in, I would be more than happy for you to come. I wish you had come to sit in, because you're very instrumental on this council because of the knowledge and the expertise and the years you put in service. And you and I have never found each other. Mr. Smallwood, same situation. And we got to get back to that. Man, you're new.
Yes.
But she don't know a lot of stuff, y'all. She's trying to learn. Don't get her for being inexperienced. I was director of a computer program firm up there in Macon, and I had to train people, and they thought they were smart. They sent me somebody that dropped out of school in the 9th grade. But you know what? That person turned out to be the best operator we ever had. Why? Because I trained them. And people can't do it. Everybody needs a chance. And the man needs a chance. We need to, when there are things that are not appropriate, sometimes we have to discuss these things behind closed doors and not bring them to this open forum. We got to get some things ironed out, and we got to get on one foot. We got to move forward with this. The lawsuits, the water adjustments, come on, y'all. I mean, we just got to move forward with the city business. We stalled 7, 8 months. It's time to move forward. And I don't think we can move forward until we get Mr. Bassett to come in here. And my prayer is that he don't find anything. But things are questionable. Let's go ahead and erase those questions and move forward.
I do want to point out one more thing. There's a lot of cash that runs through here for the water bills. People in the city, they pay with the bills in cash. Cash is a very risky thing to pay your bills with, because that allows the possibility of easier to steal, because cash is easier to take. Okay, I just want to make, if nothing else ever happens to this whole city, I would just like to tell you people, stop paying your water bills with cash. Write a check. They can't. Nobody can steal your check. Not very easily, but they can pocket your cash a lot easier than that. Okay, so just don't do that anymore. There's thousands of dollars being paid that way. Okay, you can pay any way you want to, but I just recommend you don't. That's really all. I'm trying to think of anything else. I just want to make sure. The thing is, you got to vote yes or no. Abstain vote means you have to give a promise. You have a situation, either, the way I understand, I did some research on this to find out what an abstention vote means. It means either have a conflict of interest, this is part of it, that's what I buy for it. You either have a conflict of interest, or you haven't answered, have the questions answered yet. So I came here to answer your questions. Anything you have, as best I can with them. I probably revealed too much that I wanted to anyway. But I'm here to answer any questions, so you can either vote yes or no and make a decision on that. Okay? So is there any more questions?
Just one more. The day we was in that hearing, Miss Taylor Hunt came up to me with your card in her hand, and she told me that the NAM was going to pay your expenses. Has that happened?
No.
Well, she told me they were.
She's got a
I
lot,
wish she'd gone through with it.
she's got a lot of things that ain't material.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Is she
for-
here?
You know,
Is she here? You got a check for me?
I paid for, some materials that you needed, I did an open request for some records that you needed, and they have not provided them. And I have called the Attorney General, and he told me by Wednesday, if I don't have them, that we gonna sue.
Some of the things that she's asking for are those checks that back up the deposit slips. I have not, she's asked for them. How long ago was that?
I sent a request in July, the 20th. Well, I got an answer back on the 28th. I spoke with Mr. Green, and he said that she was going on a vacation, Ms. Brown, and would be back on the 4th. The assistant clerk could work on it, but she's got all the duties to do, and if the mayor permitted her, she could work on it and produce some of it. Well, the 4th came, I came up 3 days later, and Ms. Brown refused to give me any information. I paid for it, paid for a big portion of it, $230-something, and then I have only gotten 3 of the 17 items.
Where were you told to pick up those?
According to the open records, I'm supposed to pick them up with the people of the record, and according to the open records request, after I read the document, the keeper of the records for Gordon, Georgia is the city clerk, and that's where I was going to pick them up. Now, she was saying I needed to contact Attorney Boone. I told her no, that she was the keeper of the records, and that's where I would be receiving them from Gordon. Now, if she wanted to go to Irvington and pick them up, if they were over there, then if they were being kept in Irvington, then I needed to notify the State Department that the records are not kept here, that they're kept in Irvington. And if I had to get them from Irvington, she needed to go get them and bring them here, because I was told to pick them up at the City Hall and go.
See, I have a problem with having those document requests be picked up in Irvington. I don't know why they're not picked up at City Hall. I don't understand. In Irvington, does that mean it's your office? Are you receiving these? Are you receiving these things?
Well, with all due respect, sir, as she's already pointed out, she has made this a subject of an open investigation by the Attorney General's office. It is an open investigation now. We are answering it to the Attorney General's office. So I'm not going to comment on an open investigation by the Attorney General's office.
Well, that's fair enough. But I think that if somebody asks an open records request, the documents should come from the City Hall, not from anywhere else. Because I want to see the documents straight from the source without anybody else having their hands on them. Okay? That's all I have to say. Unless you have any more questions for me, because I'm here to answer any question that you have, so you can vote yes or no on my audit. Or excuse me, my engagement letter. I'm asking, does anybody else have any more questions for me? Because I'm willing to answer anything related to my engagement. Thank you, Mr. Benson.
Thank you. Next. Council, I will now ask for a motion to approve Mr. Baskett's engagement letter.
I make the motion to approve Mr. Baskett's engagement letter.
I second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions?
Where is he gonna start from now? What is he gonna do now?
Go ahead.
What is he going to do now, Mr. Baskett?
Am I asking enough question?
What's your next move? Where are you going from here? If you are approved for the audit.
I would come down here and pick up where I left off, start doing the investigation, start pursuing these items that I've requested, looking at them, tracing these transactions through. Then the other things I have, I don't give you my audit plan totally, but there's other things I want to look at. Some going into funds and different things to find out, look at the money and who the money's being paid to. Okay, an audit.
All of your existing invoices you feel illegal and everything now. All of your existing invoices, you feel they're legal now.
Well, I think so.
That's my question. I mean, you're operating illegally up to this point. So I didn't know how we would back up on all of that. That's my question.
And I apologize for not knowing more about procedures of the city of Gordon. Okay, I just was brought in to do an audit. I started my audit, and next thing you knew, everything just blew up on me. And I was just trying to do my job. You know, I didn't want to offend anybody. I didn't want to exclude anybody. But there's certain things I can't tell everybody when you're doing an audit. A forensic audit is not the same as an annual audit. When Bright and I come in here, they do a financial audit. And that's to show, that's to state that the financial statements fairly represent the financial condition of the city. Okay? But they don't do the kind of things, they don't look at the kind of things that I look at, in the detail that I look at it. I look for the weak areas and then focus on those to see if there's anything going on. I'm not going to do what Bright and Bright does. It's nowhere near the same thing. And what they do is what they're supposed to do. I'm not saying anything about their job, because they are supposed to do a financial audit, and that's what they've been doing. But they're again, like I said, they don't do what I do, and I don't do what they do. It's two separate things. And what I do is not something that you want to do every year. It's something that you do periodically. Maybe, like the mayor said, she comes in, you get a new administration, she wants to make sure everything is fine. Okay? And it's not a bad idea to do that every 4 or 5 years, or however often you get a new mayor.
Can I ask a question, man?
True.
I know since I've been on council, we've never had a forensic audit, just a regular audit. Has there ever been a forensic audit for this city that you all know of?
Not since I've been on council. There was some money went missing, just as Mr. Baskett said, 33 or 4 or 5 years ago, when some cash got missing, and they caught the person that did it and everything, and whether they did a forensic audit again was before my time.
I mean, I did read in the paper, in the Telegraph, the plaintiff attorney representing the concerned citizen of Gordon, he was quoted as saying that the city of Gordon has a forensic audit done every year. That was
forensic.
But that's I'm just saying. I don't know. I wasn't there to hear it. That was what was printed in the paper. And when I read that, I said, "There's no way the city has a forensic audit done. They have a financial audit done every year, and you're obligated to have a financial audit every year, and so you got to.
We got clean governmental audits, from the state for the last 30, 40 years. Gatsby, I guess you're familiar with all the different Georgia, laws that you go by for audits. You have to meet all the standards that they put out there. We met every one of them every year to get a clean audit. I've got a copy of the home, for the last 10 years.
There's one thing, I guess it's probably a good time to need to read this. This is your financial audit from last year, okay? And some of the comments that are made by your financial audit by Bright and Bright. And probably, I've well said, and it is true. I'll read it to you. It says, a deficiency in internal controls exists when the design or operation of the control does not allow management or employees in the normal course of performing their assigned functions to prevent or detect and correct misstatements on a timely manner. Material weaknesses, deficiency, or a combination of deficiencies in internal control, such that there is a reasonable defect, possibility that a material misstatement of the entity's financial statement will be prevented or detected and corrected on a timely basis. And this
thing with Mr. Baskett was it not that he discussed that we approved to hire him. The problem we had was we didn't approve to pay him. And my assumption for that is the reason why he had not worked is because we stopped paying him. He didn't get any pay. So what are we saying now? We just want to delete everything he's done and install him, or what are we going to do?
Well, until it's legal for him to actually do any work for the city, this contract was signed by the mail 2/16, I think. I can't read it. I'm not gonna talk about any of the other ones. The motion now is talking about this one particular audit from Mr. Baskett, you know, so you don't get off the subject with anything else, you know. So we need to stick with just this one item right now, you know.
Finance chair, you need to look at that.
Let me ask you a question, please. As far as the payroll goes, yeah, there are days that I don't have payroll, that I don't have the best days. When I'm not having a good day, I don't even dress up, I stay around the house. The chief did bring those payroll checks out there. I got no problem signing payroll checks. I said, only thing is, if you bring my hand, I sign it. Bring me a check off list. Don't just bring a bunch of checks and say sign these. I want to check the list to see who's getting what. A lot of times people come down and sign a check, and the problem we've been having for years, is not accountability, is that so many of us are asked to sign a check by the clerk, and when you sign the check, everything is blocked the way you're supposed to sign it. Now we don't do that. But the initial check, you did not tell the amount. You just see where you put your name. I won't go into that. And the problem we've been having for years, is not accountability, is that so many of us are asked to sign a check by the clerk, and when you sign the check, everything is blocked the way you're supposed to sign it. Bill, let me ask you a question. On those QuickBooks in the year 2009, in August of 2009, there was $2 million moved from Georgia Farms 1 that went to Magnolia Bank to purchase the CD.
Quiet, please.
During that same time period, that year, there was a $2 million adjustment on the QuickBooks. Why was there a $2 million adjustment on the QuickBooks?
I don't know about the adjustment.
Mr. Martin, do you know why there was a $2 million adjustment?
It had to go through the bank, ask Melissa Morris Bank, she can explain it to you. When we moved that CD from Magnolia to Morris Bank, when we got to Morris Bank, she had to run it through the general fund account, some kind of banking transaction, okay? But that money is actually that $2 million CD that we have now at Morris Bank. It's the same $2 million transfer from place to place.
Okay, but I have a problem with the money was moved from Georgia Transfer 1. We see that in the QuickBooks. We see where the money's moved, and it decreased the amount of money that was in the Georgia Transfer 1 down to $500-something thousand. Then, yeah, it was $2,500,000-something thousand in there until the $2 million was moved. Once the $2 million was moved, that left $563,000 in the Georgia Fund 1. Why later on down we got an adjustment in the QuickBooks for the year for $2 million?
That was another one of those year-end audit adjustments that right made.
$2 million?
But that's where it went through the bank, and they had to take it, they had to take it out of the general fund.
Now that's something that I feel we need to really look into.
But it's all their document. I found it the other day, right on the bank statement. It's all documented. And you call Melissa Morris Bank, she'll verify.
One of the problems with the Georgia One Fund was it hadn't been reconciled in at least 10 years. It needed to be looked at. And I was looking at the transaction, and those are the transactions I want to follow to see where the money came from and where it went to. You look at all the where all it went, all the types of the checks, to make sure everything's being done the way it's supposed to be done. It just hasn't been looked at. And it's a lot. It started out at $6 million, now it's down to $5,000. I'm not